Good morning, everybody. We just entered into New York Open, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to just go over a few things. Hopefully everybody's having a good morning. We'll be trading our opening range 1-bar breakout strategy today. This uses a dynamic take profit calculated at the moment of entry. So let's just show you our setup here. So we got our chart right here on the left side with our control panel, chart trader, both custom to Strategy Ninja. This indicator, and this is part of the strategy. We've got main control panel down here. We keep this open to watch positions. It's important to watch positions when you're trading. Make sure that everything, especially if you're copying, that everything's trading properly. For example, right here you can see our copier, and we've got a few accounts that we'll be copying to. I use a sim account for our main account, and this is what copies to my other accounts. I have 4 funded accounts, and then I have the evaluation account. And right now I'm doing 1 micro contract to all my PAs, and 4 contracts to my evaluation account. NinjaScript output here. This helps in case there's anything that I need to watch out for that pops up. If there's any kind of failed attempts at entries, which is something we got coded in. So for example, if our opening range gets built out and we end up not taking a trade, even though it crosses the opening range, this output will actually tell us what's going on. So for example, if we have something coded, for example, a filter with a specific size for a candle, and it ends up not taking the trade, it'll actually output over here and let you know that the candle was outside the parameters and other things that may occur. So that happens there. We've got our copier output control panel to watch positions and verify they're entering and exiting properly. Although it's been coded to do almost everything as it should, you never know. And so it's best to always keep your eye on everything. I also like to keep Rithmic open off to the side. If you don't use Apex or use some other prop firm or something that uses Rithmic, it's always nice to keep it open, especially the orders window in your dashboard, to verify that there isn't anything live. As anybody knows that's traded through NinjaTrader, you can have issues between brokers and systems. I keep it open, verify that my trades show that they've closed in positions here, that my Rithmic is also showing the exact same thing. And other people that have traded through NinjaTrader know that sometimes odd things happen. NinjaTrader will still show a position open, but if you look on Rithmic, it's completely closed. And so having that information at your fingertips, just knowing everything, having your layout open and verifying everything is probably the best way as a trader to do things so that you're never missing anything. One quick tip: if you see a ghost trade, a position open here, but nothing in orders, nothing in executions, nothing on your Rithmic account, my solution is always just to disconnect from your broker and reconnect, and that position disappears. We're 7 minutes into the opening range here. If you look over here on our left, the control panel, this is our strategy. We've got our strategy name over here. So you've got your connection, your sync, data series, 5 minute. This is my custom Heikinashi setup. Strategy Ninja has its own Heikinashi system, an overlay, an indicator type thing. Slightly different than NinjaTrader's, basically like trading views, unrealized and realized profits, trades since you've enabled the strategy. This is an automated strategy. It'll show you historical performance metrics and what we have so far. This has been doing really well. You do get it's got a little over 90%, I think, as the winning rate. But right now, last few trades have been really well. This is a 30-day historical view. That's what we have. So whatever you load up on your strategy or your chart under data series here, so we have 30 days loaded. And then if you want to verify this information, all you have to do is go to strategy performance here, and that information is verified right there. Now this is based on the historical backtest. So if you're taking these trades but manually remanaging them and changing them, so if you're like trying to go for a higher profit than what it sets, or if you exit earlier, or if you don't actually take the trade, decide it's not for you that day, that will not show up here. This is just a historical backtest, not specific to what you traded in the last 30 days. Let's see what else we got. Our session start, session end information, all your time information right there. Copier, ready to copy here, but it shows that we've got our status right here, ready to copy. What else? Chart settings. If we want to see more chart and not so much control panel, we can collapse the control panel. We can hide that part. And you've got your news settings. We don't have any news right now from the looks of it. What else? We're 2 bars in. This strategy only takes long, so if we end up going short, we will not take that. It'll actually show up over here in output, let you know that it does not take that. Another couple minutes, and we'll see if we get a trade today. If there's anything you guys see that you think you'd love to see in here in Strategy Ninja, I'd love it if you guys left some comments. I have been thinking maybe to put the fair value gap and the supply and demand zones as a button in addition to just being able to go here and enabling it. I don't know if that's necessarily needed, but just thought maybe it would be something for the future. I want to show you the strategy analyzer. Open up your page, go to SNL Strategy Builder Pro, and that'll just give you all the options, the default options available for you to choose from. And then you can choose an instrument, you can choose dates here. Right here, Strategy Ninja Heikinashi bars. This is the basic setup when you see it here. All the advanced settings, take profit, stop loss, different entry types, trade management settings, all of that is right in here. And then our indicator, if you want to choose an indicator and play around with the filters, those are in there. You've got your session time parameters. It's pretty simple. We keep everything at your fingertips. When you create a strategy within the analyzer, you can backtest it. If you have custom strategies that you run and you want me to help you get them set up in here, we can do that. We break it out. So we don't create a strategy. For example, you have 10 different rules and we just put all those rules in there. No, what we do is we break out a lot of the parts into individual parts. So instead of having a strategy that you just code, you end up with many different options. And the nice thing about that is, one, you get to tweak it. If the markets shift completely, you can change it in real time as you're seeing systems start failing you. And so if for whatever reason, maybe there's more players in the market, less players in the market, other factors that may start happening, you can always go back and start tweaking it so that you get better results. And so what we do is, for example, the strategy entry type here, we try to minimize the amount of coded into this area. These are very basic things. So a basic trend reversal, for example, is a very basic entry type. All it is, you tell it how many trend candles you want in a row, and then how many reversal candles in a row in order for it to say, okay, we're taking a trade. So for example, if I said I wanted 6 candles as our trend candles, and then I want 1 candle in a reversal candle, and then to take a trade. For example, even right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 candles in a row. So that's your trend. Then you've got your reversal candle in the opposite direction. At the close of this candle, it takes the trade. So that's it for the entry settings. That's your basic entry type. After that, you get to go in and you adjust all sorts of other settings, how you want to take that trade. We've got take profit settings, so how it calculates the take profit. You've got your initial here, and always consider your initial the max. Whatever you're putting in here should be your max profit and max stop loss. There's ways to adjust these in real time. And so there's 2 different ones. We have dynamic and event. Dynamic will adjust this at the time of your trade. Whatever you update here, it'll update in real time your initial profit target. If you had 50 here and then put a signal candle with wick size and 1 for 100% size and take a trade here, it'll calculate from the top to the bottom. If this size is less in ticks than your initial one, it'll actually update this to a smaller version. Let's take, for example, this one here. You go take this trade. It's a short. You have 6 here, 1 down. This becomes a short. You're looking at the signal candle. So whatever the size of that signal candle is, let's say it was 20 ticks. this would update to 20 ticks. So that's how the dynamic works. It just dynamically updates it at the point of actual trading. So when it submits a trade, it'll actually check the candles, update it if necessary, and then you take a trade, right? And then we have more dynamic options, the swing, ATR, and a color flip. And you can read all instructions and definitions here. And then you have event. So you've got the dynamic variation, and then, for example, you have event variation. Let's say for stop loss event, we have a lot of different options here. And the way the events work, basically, it does not update the initial take profit or stop loss. Those remain the same. But in the event that this specific occurrence, so whatever is here, then it will exit you. So it just exits on a specific event. So for example, you have closed past the signal body. If this was your signal and your take profit was high and it came back, see right here, didn't close yet, but if it closed underneath, you would end up closing the trade. And so that's basically it for that. So if your take profit and your stop loss hasn't taken you out yet, and this event occurs, whatever is in your event that's been enabled, by default everything is disabled. But if you enable something, maybe like a close past the super trend, you've got close past the opposite fractal. So if you created this fractal here and that fractal and it closes past this one, it'll get you out again. You've got all sorts of different ones you can look into, but basically that's what that is. And then you've got your indicators, of course. I think we've gone through these before. Doesn't look like we'll be taking a trade today. It seems like it just wants to go down. The nice thing about what we do versus most automated bots is you get to backtest it and you get to tweak it, which a lot of bots don't give you that option or very limited in that scenario. And so you can actually tweak things and play with it until it can actually become profitable. Or the opposite, which is you realize that that strategy is just no good. It doesn't trade well. Everybody wants that winning strategy, right? And you've got like these ideas, hey, what ifs? And you start trading, you do a month of backtesting, check charts, manual backtesting for your ideas, and you're like, this is looking good in the last month, maybe the last 2 or 3 months, right? And so you're like, man, I'm going to continue trading this. And then you realize, hey, I'm losing day after day. And it's like, what's going on? And so the nice thing here is that not only can you backtest to verify something works, but you're backtesting to verify something doesn't work as well. And say you have a strategy and realize that every time a certain event happens, you win or lose. Either it's programmed in or it's something that maybe we can program in for you. And then you can test it with that and verify whether or not your hunch is real, whether or not that event actually creates more wins or it's actually bad in the long run. And so that's a nice thing you can do with this. Always backtest your hunches. You're like, hey, the last few days, every time it goes over the 9 EMA, it wins. And anytime it stays under, it doesn't. You could backtest that and see if in the long term that's actually profitable or if it's just something in the short term that's been happening. And so it's nice to always be able to test those theories real quickly with your strategy. If you've got your strategy all built in and you've got this theory and idea that's been forming over the last month or two, it's something you can quickly test and see if that's something that can help you perform better or not. And even though you can look at the strategy builder and tester as this kind of way to find the best strategy, you can also test your theories. That's pretty powerful. It's how I use it sometimes. I'm watching my opening range strategy. I get a hunch, and then if I can test it already, I test it. If not, I code it in there so I can test it. And I think it just works so much better than going by hand and doing something manually and trying to figure it out and all that. So you get the backtester, which is you can do negative backtesting and positive backtesting. And so it's really nice. If you guys have ideas, things you want us to code before you decide to buy a subscription, let us know. We'll get it in there. Looks like this wants to go down. Got about half an hour on the session, but right now it looks like it just wants to go down. And we don't take shorts. Doing backtesting with shorts, I realized that most reverse on you. That's just the situation. Not always, but you get break even with shorts. It's tough. You can't even really take a trade and reverse it because half will win and half lose. That's typically around break even. So I decide not to take it until I can find a strategy that can help me filter them out a little bit better, filter out those shorts. I prefer not to take them. And for now, I haven't found anything that does well in filtering out bad shorts. It's been mostly losses, so I avoid them. I think it's psychological. When people are buying, people want to get in because they don't want to miss the boat, right? Hey, I want to get in. I don't want to buy at a higher price. I want to get in when it's low. And so people tend to buy more. When it comes to selling, people tend to hold because they hope the price will go back up, and so they can at least sell it where they bought it rather than just sell in loss. And so I think psychologically it makes sense. And I think that's why longs just work better. Plus, if you look at the market historically, it's typically going up. It's rare that you have that small, it really is a small time of a depression when the market just goes down. And so typically markets are going up, especially with inflation, with more money pouring in, more money into the markets, more money. It's, in general, more money gets poured in because of inflation. Over time, markets increase. It's very rare that they go down. Yeah, it doesn't look like we'll have a trade, unfortunately. I was hoping we had 3 trades this week, or 3 days of trading that did work out. We had wins on them. Did take, I think it was just 3, was it 3 or 5? I think 2 of the days we took 2 trades each on my other strategy, which is not enabled right now because it hasn't been doing as well. So I've been closing it out. It's also a opening range strategy, but hasn't been going as far. I've been closing it out similar to this one. I'm taking 2 contracts. Both of them have worked out. Yesterday's worked out as well. I actually closed out early yesterday. If I would have left it, it would have taken one more opening range trade, which would have won as well. But for now, that's it for the video today. I hope you got some more information. This has been a journey for sure. It's been over a year of coding and doing things. I started because I would watch videos and all these traders who are just killing it, right? They're winning. And they've got these basic strategies at times, or it seems basic, and they tell you how well they're doing. If you've got a rule-based strategy, you should be able to code it. I realized that very few strategies online, at least that I've seen, have long-term reliability. Most might work short-term. That's why people will show you like a 3-month back test of this really cool strategy, and you go to try to do it yourself and you end up failing. To me, this whole field is an interesting thing. So I took it upon myself to code it to make it work for me because I want to trade. I want to do it well. And I hate doing it blind just because some person somewhere said, hey, this strategy works. And I've been making money off of it for whatever time and years or whatever it might be. And so you code it and you realize it doesn't work. Not because it doesn't work for the person, but because, in my opinion, most strategies, although they're rule-based, whoever's running that strategy, there's a human component that you cannot typically code in, right? So there's human intuition. There's a part you have to do manually. Sometimes systems fail. I've seen Rithmic fail plenty. I've seen copiers fail plenty. I've seen connection issues with your internet. That's a big one. Like, I have issues sometimes with my positions, whereas my brother, who runs the exact same setup, won't have the same issue because he has better internet. I'm stuck with the internet I have. There's a lot of that can go wrong, and being at the helm when they're there to protect yourself, that's just one part of managing trades properly. I've done a lot to try to make this system manage it for you. It's not a high frequency trading system at all, so it's not something you can put on somewhere and just have it go off. We have protection systems in the copiers to protect you under certain circumstances. If for some reason an account doesn't close for whatever reason, bug or internet issue or whatever it might be, it tries to close your trades. That's why being at the computer is the only way to trade, in my opinion. It does a really good job. I've never had one trade that failed to close. And what I mean by that is I've had trades that didn't close, but then the copier caught that and actually closed them for me within seconds. That's part of the built-in security system. If you're scalping very small, even a couple seconds can mean a huge thing. If a follower account doesn't get closed out for some reason, especially if you don't sit at your computer, that you come back later and you're like, what happened? I'm 500 ticks in the negative. Why didn't it close out? It should close everything within seconds of the master account not having a trade anymore. Everything's based on the master. I keep a sim account as my master, never any other kind of account, because sim accounts, they don't really get affected by the markets. They don't get affected by fill rates. They don't get affected by just about anything. And so they're very quick and out no matter what you put in there, because it's sim account, right? And so you don't have weird issues happening. Whereas if you took, for example, a PA account and there's a Rithmic issue, you get some weird stuff happening. It may not close out properly. All your other accounts are still live. In my opinion, it's very bad to use any other account than a sim. I'd love if you guys left comments, questions about the system, questions about the copier, anything that I can help give you information about, help you decide if this is something you want. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in our Discord. It is a paid subscription. We're running some promos right now. If you want to join, just check out our website. But anyway, hopefully everybody else's trading for today went well. It doesn't look like I'll have a trade today. So we'll see you next time. If you have questions, comments, please subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps me out, especially since I'm just starting out. We only went live a couple weeks ago. We don't have any subscribers yet. So hopefully soon people start joining. Thanks, guys.